So people aren't happy with this, they're not happy with this, they're not happy with any of this. How did we get here? Let's go back to 2021. The third Tom Holland Spider-Man movie is getting teased, with Alfred Molina reprising his role as Dr. Octavius. Then Jamie Foxx gets teased, and eventually, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are caught in the fray. On December 17th, Spider-Man No Way Home releases, and what does it present? All previous generations of villains, along with all previous Spider-Man teaming up. So this is what I like to call the start of the Nostalgia Brigade. Now, I'm one of the nerds who obviously lost their mind seeing this. What's not to love? The Spider-Man you grew up watching teaming up to fight all their villains? Sounds ridiculous. And in my opinion, while the nostalgia factor was heavy, it still felt like a good Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. It's a good story about grief, and furthermore, a fantastic story about sacrifice, a core trait of Spider-Man. Now, let's look further ahead. The second Doctor Strange movie is titled Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, with the word multiverse being in the title, the internet went crazy. Were we gonna get Nick Cage's Ghost Rider? What about Ben Affleck's Daredevil? The possibilities were endless, and when the movie came out, the biggest cameo was Patrick Stewart reprising his role as Professor X. Now, back when it released, I was a little underwhelmed. That was it? Sure, we got John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, a longtime fan cast, but otherwise, that was it? The movie was fine, honestly. It had the same Sam Raimi mannerisms, which I quite enjoy, but overall, it was okay. But looking back now, I'm just glad that it did not have a cameo fest everywhere. Let's switch gears now to a different franchise. In 2023, Mortal Kombat 1 gets announced. This is a sequel to Mortal Kombat 11, which featured Kronika as the base game villain, which people forgot about because Shang Tsung, the OG MK villain, came back in the Aftermath expansion. I was okay with this, because Kronika is one of the worst villains I've ever seen depicted. Horrible motivation, extremely lazy writing, and even designed horribly as a final boss. So when MK1 got announced, and it showed that Shang Tsung was going to be the villain again, I wasn't exactly thrilled. It's not that they're bringing back an underused villain from decades ago, they're using a villain that we saw 2 years prior. Even though there was massive speculation on who the real villain was, come September when the game was released, it was still Shang Tsung. Now let's move a little more ahead. Tekken 8 releases in January of 2024. It is promoted as the final confrontation between Jin Kazama and Kazuya Mishima. But where is Heihachi Mishima? He is 100% confirmed to be dead by Tekken 7's story and even by the creator himself.
Heihachi Mishima is completely dead.
Okay, perfect. The story has Jin defeating Kazuya and he is presumed dead. Then they tease that the game would be getting a story expansion, which would probably have Reina Mishima as the central antagonist following her devil powers awakening. Oh no. Oh, no. No. Wait. So Heihachi is back, and now the Nostalgia Brigade is getting on my nerves a little. Where's the fresh take on a new villain? What's wrong with Reina? And just when I thought it was all over, this happened. Okay. Let's just back up a little. So recently, Marvel announced that Avengers 5 is no longer being called the Kang Dynasty, and now it's being called Doomsday. So hearing this, I got gassed. Finally, we could have a semi-new villain who could be just as complex as Thanos, and finally be done correctly on the big screen. Yahoo! Because up until this point, Doctor Doom hasn't been portrayed so great in the films. Then it's announced that the Russo brothers are coming back to direct the films. Now this was an obvious change. They have experience with big budget Avengers films and knocked it out of the park with the previous ones, so of course they'd bring them back. But hearing this, I already knew what was coming. At least some big actor was coming back in a big way. And it's revealed that RDJ is Doctor Doom. So for 5 minutes, I held my hands behind my head. I was shocked and so excited. Holy shit, it's the god! Oh my god, he's gonna be crazy as Doctor Doom, oh my god! But then, all at once, it all stopped. It's like the Nostalgia Brigade in me finally just halted and I threw it out the window. Because of this line.
New mask, same task.
This suggests to me that this Doctor Doom is a variant of Tony Stark, who potentially succeeded in his suit of armor around the world plan. Now, this is all speculation, of course. For all I know, he could be a completely different character who RDJ is playing, but that doesn't seem right. Because if that was the case, bring on a new actor. I mean, why can't we just move on? Why can't we just get a new person? Adam Driver, Mads Mikkelsen, Cillian Murphy, someone new. Instead, Marvel watched Oppenheimer and were like, damn, RDJ is really good as an antagonist. Let's make him Doctor Doom.
No, you're still holding on. Let go!
Now, I have to say this. I think he's going to do a fantastic job as Doctor Doom. He's gonna kill it. And if they play their cards right, they could do a version of the Superior Iron Man storyline and have maybe a good mix. I don't know. But I just can't help but be pissed off at this desperate attempt to get people engaged in the MCU. Because say it with me, the MCU right now is so mid. There's only one way I can put it, and that's this.
Master Bruce, are you all right, sir?
I'm tired, Alfred.
It's the nostalgia. It's getting way too out of control. I haven't even mentioned the Star Wars franchise, who don't even have the guts to have Snoke remain the final villain, and instead resort to cheap nostalgia bait and have Palpatine come back. Jeremy Jahns, take this one.
Which I know they or J.J. Abrams have said, no, that was the plan from the beginning to bring Palpatine in.
Bullshit.
DC is definitely no outsider to this. The Flash was nostalgia jizz everywhere. While I didn't exactly think it was terrible, this is exactly what disgusting nostalgia bait looks like. Trust me, in a few years when James Gunn's DC plan is booming, Henry Cavill will come back, Ben Affleck will come back, and so many more. Why? Well, I'll get back to that. Let me just talk about Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
Now, I can already see people saying how I'm a hypocrite and I'm liking exactly what I'm criticizing, but just hear me out. When it was announced Hugh Jackman was coming back, I couldn't actually believe it. Logan died in Logan. That was it. Let the man rest. He had an amazing send-off, so bringing him back now discredits everything that happened in the movie. And when I watched Deadpool, I would say it did and it didn't. I've always wanted to see Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool interact with Jackman's Wolverine, and this movie showcased just how good their chemistry is. And I was all for it. Let's just address the nostalgia boner in this movie. Spoilers for everyone who hasn't seen the movie. So Chris Evans comes back as the Human Torch, which was one of the 2 times I jumped in the theater. Other was Henry Cavill's surprise cameo as a Wolverine variant. Evans was extremely fun to watch, especially just how vulgar he got. Then the cameos kept on coming and coming and coming, and I was like, alright, now I've had enough food, I'm full. Don't get me wrong, Wesley Snipes coming back was a treat, and Channing Tatum as Gambit was hilarious and stylish in the movie. But hear me out, this movie's gonna be heavily criticized in a month or 2, just like No Way Home was. In the moment, people loved No Way Home, but in a month or 2, people began to shit on it, saying it's nostalgia pandering. Mark my words, Deadpool and Wolverine will have the exact same response. Which brings me to my point. Why can't we have something new? The obvious answer here is money. So while I would blame companies for being cheap and sticking back to familiar concepts, I'm actually gonna blame the viewers. Yeah, that's right, us. We unfortunately can't help but consume all of this because nostalgia is one of the most powerful feelings there is. And companies have caught on to this. Like it or not, humans enjoy being comfortable. We like what is familiar. We like knowing what we're getting into. Life is difficult as it is. So why not go back to a time where everything was simple? Like I've stated before, this problem branches out to every single company out there. Mortal Kombat unfortunately can't help but constantly be nostalgic for the first 3 MK games, and when it tries to be nostalgic for what they think is the worst era of the MK franchise, the 3D era, they get it wrong. They want us to purchase nostalgic costumes for ridiculous amounts of money, which aren't even correct to begin with. The one thing I'm glad for is that the new story expansion has Havoc as the main villain. Thank God for that. I mean, I would have preferred Onaga to have a fresh take because he's basically the Thanos of the MK franchise, but honestly, I'll have to see how Havoc is in the expansion to understand if I have faith that they do Onaga right. But even in the main story, with its Avengers Endgame ass plot, it completely ruined it. I actually got invested in the characters, and then they pulled this shit out of their ass. Oh yeah, not to mention that the expansion has heavy Marvel inspiration all over it. Tekken 8 can't help but bring a character who is 100% unequivocally dead. Sure, we could have him back as a playable character, just don't use him in the story. But no, he's coming back canonically. Stop bringing him back! Yeah, I get that's his whole gimmick, but for goodness sakes, come up with something different. Just watch what happens in a few years. Ooh, we get a teaser for Tekken 9, we see a gloved hand, then we see some iconic pants, then the hair, and look who's back, it's goddamn Kazuya again! Now there's a difference between just nostalgia bait and actually improving what came before. Take X-Men 97 for example. This show improved in ways I can't even describe. You might as well call it a different show. This is similar to the Adventure Time spinoff featuring Fiona and Cake. More story-centered, focusing on character relationships, and even has a slight adult nature to it. But that being said, regular show is confirmed to be coming back as well. So again, we keep coming back to the same things. On the topic of games again, Black Ops 6 is reintroducing round-based zombies. Good. The formula always worked and we should stick to it. But they're bringing back Gobblegums because in BO3 they were praised heavily. Whether or not it's implemented well remains to be seen. I just hope that Sparking Zero, the 4th Budokai Tenkaichi game, doesn't flop hard. I mean, there's no way it will. Look at this, it's a Pika card! Look, I'm never gonna shit on this game because what does this series do for me? It reminds me of the simpler time. It reminds me of coming back home from school, turning on the PS2 and playing Tenkaichi 3 until my fingers hurt. But again, as much as I don't want to admit it, I can totally see the argument of this falling under the nostalgia brigade. Unfortunately, we're stuck. Because in a decade from now, companies are going to do the same thing they've always done. Reuse and recycle the same plot lines they've always done. Which transforms the nostalgia brigade to what I would like to call the nostalgia paradox. I can guarantee that no matter how shit things are right now, in a few years you're going to be nostalgic of this moment right now. That's human nature. We block out the negatives in the past and think about the positives. Rose-tinted glasses. This cycle won't stop, and it's up to you to decide whether it's a bad thing or a good thing. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you think.